bloggers, or authors are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, municipality, individual, or anyone or anything.
He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. Welcome to Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar.
Minimize it.
Thank you very much for tuning in. We are here in Toms River, New Jersey, and my name is Dr. Michael Kachmar. We just have we always have technical difficulty.
Yeah, we've been out of the studio for a while, so you know.
Here's Jeremy, and say hello, Jeremy.
Yeah, hey guys, how you doing?
So today's
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
So today's date is Saturday, the 18th, January, the year of our Lord, 2025.
2025.
And I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar. I'm a board-certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. I've been in practice for over 30 years. I'm on staff at 4 or 5 hospitals, full attending. And I've done reconstructive foot and ankle surgery on adults and children for, like I said, like 35 years. We do a lot of trauma, a lot of wound care. And we've had this show for probably 3-4 years now. And we try to, we actually, because of the politics that's been involved in these past several years, we've done medicine and politics where they kind of interact.
Intertwine.
So today what we're going to do, and we do have a podcast. So we're on everything. We're on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the like button.
If you're listening to us on Facebook, please like the page, and then you'll get notifications both here and on YouTube if you subscribe when we go live.
Right, we're on Rumble, we're on Instagram, we're on X, by the way. And so we're all over the place.
iTunes.
iTunes and Spotify. Yeah. So anyway, what I want to talk about today, we're going to start with some foot and ankle stuff. One of the things that I see so often in the office, I probably see 30 times a week, is heel pain. So many people have heel pain. Yeah. And basically what the symptoms are is you wake up in the morning, the first couple steps kills you. Your heel hurts. You can hardly walk on it. Yeah. Eases up by a little bit, and by the end of the day, it's hurting again. Definitely going from a sitting to a standing position. A lot of people say, I drive the car, I get out, and I could hardly walk. That's a plantar fasciitis / heel spur syndrome. Okay, so for people who are on Spotify, you might want to go to the YouTube channel and see the visual. So we're going to go to the visual right now. So Jeremy, can you hit my iPad icon down there all in the bottom?
Sure thing.
So if you look here, we're gonna look at a couple things. So this is some images here. So I'm gonna kind of go. So here's the calcaneus. This is an X-ray of the foot, and you can see at the heel spur. It's the little line there, and there's a banded tissue. If you look, so you can see the X-ray, calcaneus bone. That's the heel bone, and there's a heel spur. So that's what hurts a lot of times, the spur, but not everybody has a spur. So sometimes what you have is this inflammation here.
Down that.
See that? It's the plantar fascia. So the spur is kind of inside the bone, like inside that, but you also have this strain and tearing of this ligament. And
I have a question about this too.
Sure. Well,
I had one of these, my heel pain. We were just about to go on a cruise, and it was painful. It was really painful walking. Do they just go? Can they just go away?
Some do, but
because see, mine did. I went on that cruise, and I spent a lot of time in the hot tub.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it was gone.
Yeah, they can go away. Look at the. I just want to show you these pictures here. So this is another one here. You can see the inflammation of the heel spur.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, we'll just show you a couple more here. So if you look here, I love these. This is kind of plantar fascia is the whole bottom of the foot. So this whole area hurts.
Right.
And so it is an interesting thing. You could go back to me. Okay, thank you. So to answer your question, obviously people come to me when it don't go away. So what you do initially, if you get it, this is your self help. You can put in nice warm heat. I like Epsom salt soaks. Get the hot water, fill up the Epsom salts like you were doing. You were soaking your foot in the hot tub. Don't wear don't go barefoot. Wear some like Crocs or some running shoes. Get some support.
You got swimming shoes. They're good, right?
They're flat. You got to have some arch support. That's the key.
You need the arch support.
You need the arch support, at least for a while. In fact, it's interesting. Women will come in and tell me when they wear the high heel shoes, the heel don't hurt. Because, you're actually giving yourself a way up. You're not flattening the foot.
Yeah, and a lot of the weight is going on the pads of your feet.
Yeah. So it's a different kind of thing,
That makes sense.
What happens is, though, when people, I would tell people take some anti-inflammatories, NSAIDs, Aleve, Motrin, warm water soaks, try to modify your shoe gear, and I wouldn't be doing any running or jumping for a while. Let it calm down. If it doesn't calm down in a couple of weeks, you got to come and see somebody. We have offices in Bayville and Barnegat, New Jersey. You could even call into our radio station here. Yeah. Jeremy, go down to the one more. You're right there. And our number for people who want to give us a call during a show is 732-237-4949. You could call in and ask for some information. Leave that up for a while, Jeremy, the phone number. Anyway, so what I do is I get you come in, I give you an exam, and we always check the circulation, make sure that it's not poor circulation, which could mimic a heel pain. The other thing that we try to rule out is spinal stenosis or something coming from the spinal column. Like Dr. Jasper, who just did a show, you could get referred pain down to the foot and ankle. You could swear it's down there, but it's really coming from your back. Right. So we rule those things out. And the next thing we'll do is check the circulation, and I'll palpate around. Usually the pain is specifically in that one area. Yeah. And that kind of tells me what's going on. We take a series of x-rays, foot and ankle x-rays, and we do that to make sure there's no stress fracture, no tumor, no foreign body. We see if there's a spur or not. And so then once we get those things, we see if there's any soft tissue masses, stuff like that. And then the patient, after we evaluate it and we say, okay, this is a plantar fasciitis / heel spur, we recommend, number one, which is the gold standard, is cortisone injections. So we inject, and I'm very gentle. We spray it. I use a fine needle. Most people don't even feel the pain.
Like an acupuncture needle.
Yes. Very, very.
It goes in. Like I'm on Ozempic now.
Right.
And that needle goes in. I don't even feel it.
Move your coffee thing there, Jeremy.
It's so thin.
Yeah.
So thin.
Yeah, and it's technique too. I mean, the way I do an injection is very mellow, and very non-invasive. Just like Dr. Jasper, he put a needle in your back, you don't even know you get it.
Yeah, you don't even know.
The next thing we do is I'll give you a short course of anti-inflammatories. We do have a what's called a plantar fascia kit. And it has a little bit of an ACE wrap kind of thing. It's got a ball. It's got you could do some stretching exercise. Okay. So we start you on some physical therapy, at least at home. And we also give you a short course of anti-inflammatories. It's a beefed up Aleve. It's called naproxen. About 2-3 days. And then we put you on a medical food anti-inflammatory. Well, we like that kind of stuff. It's not going to hurt your kidneys. Right.
So you're telling them what foods to eat.
No. It's a pill. It's actually no. We have a whole series of medical. So you have drugs,
supplements, right? And that, yeah.
And then you have supplements, but then you have what's called medical foods, and these are products. It's natural anti-inflammatories,
right?
And we give that. And then we pre-cert you. Most people come to us have insurance, and we pre-cert people for orthotics. These are inserts that go in the shoe, and they're very, very, very beneficial, and they could help quite a bit. They take the pressure off of the heel, and I'm just going to see if I can find a picture here. I should have got a picture of that, but they're inserts that go into the shoe, and you could wear them in almost every shoe, so the injections take care of the pain short term, and the orthotics take care of the pain long term. Now, if I have 100 people come in the office with heel pain, about 95% are cured with injections and orthotics. Done. Yeah. And that takes, maybe 2-3 months. Maybe they might need 1 injection, 2, 3, maybe even 4. Yeah. Now, and everybody's fine. And I rarely see them back. And if you look at the literature, most of those people never have another occurrence, as long as they wear the orthotics and don't do anything crazy.
All right.
The 5% that don't get better, 5%, we then order an MRI. and we make sure there's no anything pushing on the nerve, because sometimes there's a nerve involved here. There's a thing called Baxter's nerve. So it could be a nerve tumor, it could be something, a mass, a ganglion cyst. We don't see these things on X-ray, but an MRI will differentiate that. It could be a benign bone tumor in the bone. Again, arthritis. So you do all of that, and the MRI. So let's just say the MRI coincides with and reinforces that this is a plantar fasciitis / heel spur. Okay, and so it's MRI is confirming what we have thought clinically. Well, then I take those people, that 5 out of 100, and we send them to physical therapy. And out of the physical therapy, about 3 of those get better. So out of that 100 people, maybe 2 need to be operated on. That's pretty good odds, in my opinion.
That's great.
Pretty good odds, in my opinion. And I think that if you so everybody out there, we do it. We got a great. I mean, I just said we have. What did I just say? 98, 95, 93.
Yeah.
97% success rate. And that's quick, easy. I've had people come into my office, been treated for months, 6 months, 8 months. I'm like, there's no reason for that. Yeah. If you got a doctor and you've been treated and you're not getting better, that's crazy. That's absolutely insane. So, give us a call. I don't think we have it up there, but my office number for people who need it is I'll give it out though. It's 732-269-1133. Jeremy, put the Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center. That one. Hit that one right there. You're on. Hit that one.
Yeah,
hit that.
It's on.
Oh, so you guys could go to my webpage. It's very good.
Oh, your webpage isn't up here.
No, that's it. JerseyShoreFootandLegCenter.com. That's okay. We'll add that.
It's JerseyShoreFootandLegCenter.com. That's the website.
We'll add that next time, the .com. But anyway, JerseyShoreFootandLegCenter.com. Yeah. Or just Google or put it on YouTube, Dr. Kachmar. I will come up all over the place, okay? And anywhere, Rumble, whatever, and get the information you need. And there's a lot of good information in there, self-treatment. But I think that this is very important. So this is one of, again, we see 30 a week. It drives me crazy when I see people who, are suffering. Okay? All right. So I want to talk about another thing, Jeremy, real quick. And this is, I just had a patient the other day, another patient who I'm really pissed off about this. And
really?
I've seen this. It's not my specialty, but it is.
Right.
And this is prostate cancer, okay? This is talking about prostate cancer. I'll get patients in my office that have advanced prostate cancer because they come in, their legs are all swollen, and they have issues. And a lot of it's because the tumor is so big, it's pushing on the urethra, and they're having issues with their kidneys. And all of these patients that I've had in the past, I'd say 5 years now, in this area, in Toms River area, at least 5 or 6 patients that have been treated with benign neglect. You know what benign neglect is, Jeremy? Yeah. What is benign neglect? Just don't worry about it. Let it go. Yeah. Just off the back, So I just had a patient who his PSA was averaging around 10 for years and years and years, until one day he had pain in his neck, whatever, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer. It was metastasized all over his body. And the urologist basically said, for all those years, oh, you'll be fine, you don't worry about it, And then what happens is he winds up, the urologist's like, well, you better get your stuff in order. And, so the guy goes somewhere else and he gets chemo and radiation, I think, and he's in remission right now, And this all happened last summer. But I had one individual who I had came to my office after being seen in a local hospital. He was having legs were all swollen, and they did an ultrasound on him. He had a huge tumor pressing on his urethra, and but they didn't catheterize him. They sent him home. He was having difficulty urinating. Anyway, he came to my office, and I admitted him to the hospital. And he wound up, we had the urologist I called in, they had to actually put a catheter into his kidney and then another one up his urethra to try to drain him. The thing was so big. That's why his legs were so swollen. And it was just a horror show, and he had metastasized all over the place, and he finally died. I think about 6 months later. And again, the urologist who's taking care of him was like, "Oh, it's elevated, but don't worry about it. You'll die from something else before you die from the prostate cancer."
Oh, lovely.
I've seen this. It's in the literature. It's not just It's not just. I don't get it. It's almost the same thing like when they talk about getting colonoscopies. They're like, wait for a colonoscopy. We don't think you need one. You're seeing colon cancer in 45-year-olds now. 50-year-olds. It's interesting too about a colonoscopy. I think what happened with this guy, how they found out that he had such a bad tumor, is he went for a colonoscopy and they couldn't put the tube up his up his butt.
I remember this guy.
It was so I never told you about this guy.
No. The guy it was so pinched you couldn't get anything in. We talked about him a long time ago.
No, this is another. I just found out about this guy.
This is a new guy.
This is a new guy.
Oh my God.
This is a new guy.
Because the last guy was a nightmare.
This is how they found out. I think this maybe he had pain in his neck, but one of the things he was telling me, I was just talking to this guy yesterday.
Right.
He couldn't get the catheter in, and they had to use the one that you use for the throat. That's crazy. I don't care. Again, it's not my specialty. I'm not a urologist. I'm a foot and ankle surgeon, but I deal with these patients.
How do they do a catheter down your throat?
No. When they do it, you have an endoscopy and a colonoscopy. Endoscopy is when they look in your stomach. Right. It's a finer, smaller camera, cord, cable, smaller. Yeah. They had to use that up his butt because it was so small. Wow. Your throat's smaller than your anus, so just so you know, the thing is, could get pretty big.
Wow.
And
that's good to know.
Well. I've seen things. I've seen people come in the ER with pretty big objects up there.
Really? Any animals? Oh, good for you.
But getting back to the thing, I just wanted to make a point. If you're PSA, I don't give a shit. You say, "Oh, Kachmar, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a foot and ankle doctor." Okay, fine. Go scratch. Like my granddaughter goes, look between. When she goes, look between the.
Read between the lines.
Read between the lines.
Yeah.
And if it's 8, 9, 10, 3, 4, something like that, you get biopsies. I've had one guy for years and years. He had multiple biopsies, negative, but his PSA was going up to 10. And the urologist, don't worry about it. You don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then you know what brought him in? Pain in his thigh, and he had a huge tumor in there. He lasted 2 years. They did, and I know his wife. She was a nurse, and they were so upset with the doctor. I don't agree with benign neglect. Treat it somehow. I don't really care which way you treat it, but to leave it alone, even if it doesn't metastasize. The tumor gets bigger and bigger, and it pushes on your urethra. It causes, issues. I had a woman not too long ago. She came into me and talk about tumors and things like that. She had really bad leg pain. It looked like a radiculopathy, like you would get when you have your herniated disc. Your leg pain goes down your thigh, your calf, your foot, right? And I thought that's what she had, and I sent her for an MRI, and the MRI came back of her lower back, and it wasn't that impressive. There wasn't much going on there. So I said to her, listen, I don't see much here, but you know what? Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm going to send you to a back specialist, an interventional pain specialist like Dr. Jasper. I sent her to Dr. Jasper. I don't think she went to Jasper because of her insurance or whatever. She went to another doctor, and that doctor said, well, you got a lot of hip pain, so we ordered an MRI of her hip. Because he also agreed that it wasn't much in the back. Wasn't much in the back. So he said, well, it must be the hip. And I would have done that, but again, it's not my field, and I push him off,
Yeah.
But I knew something was wrong.
Man's got to know his limitations.
Yeah. And what happens is, it's amazing, the MRI of the hip shows a huge tumor on her uterus.
Right.
So she had a urinary tumor. It was benign, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
But it was pushing on her nerve. So she had a hysterectomy. They removed the tumor, whatever, and she's fine. She came back to me. She's like, "Oh, thank you, Dr. Kachmar." I don't even know if she thanked the surgeon or the pain guy, but she thanked me.
Right.
But
well, you had a hand in it.
Yeah. So anyway, but I digress. Anyway, this is the things that we talk about. So let me just circle back. If anybody has heel pain, All right, we are out there. We strongly recommend you come to see us. And definitely, if somebody's talking about surgery before you have heel pain surgery, come and see me. I had a guy. I'll give you another great example. Came
Well,
to
first
me.
off,
I'm sorry.
Dr. Kachmar was saying, check out our website.
Yeah.
It's JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let me circle back. So about this other guy who had heel pain. This guy comes to me for a second opinion. He's got heel pain. He was seen by an orthopedic group with a podiatrist involved, right? And he had pain in the leg, and I think the orthopods saw him first, thought it was maybe from his back, then they referred him to the podiatrist. This is local people here. That guy gives him a couple shots, doesn't get better, continues to have heel pain, sends him for an MRI, which comes back pretty much not showing much.
Right.
So there's your first answer. Not showing, nothing inflamed. Okay. So the guy, and he keeps on getting pain. The doctors get some orthotics. Everything we talked about.
Right.
He's not getting better. So he comes to me, and I see him, and the first thing I'd look at, I could see the foot and ankle doesn't look well perfused. I check his pulses; they're absent. I do what's called an ABI. Ankle brachial index. So it's a vascular exam that we do in the office. And I diagnosed a blockage of his artery. That's what his problem was. Sent him to the vascular specialist. They did surgery on him. They stented him, and the guy is fine. But they missed the diagnosis. So we do see these things, and it's sad that it happens this way. Right. But get a second opinion. If you're not getting better, if your heel pain is not getting better in a couple months, definitely by 3 months, then you should be coming in to see us. Yeah. Because it could be, maybe it's not a plantar fasciitis. It could be poor circulation. Right. It could be okay, Jeremy, there?
Yeah, I'm okay.
It could be, if it's not heel pain, if it's not, it could be vascular, it could be neurologic, and it could be what do you call it? Tumors, masses, nerve. There's a lot of things that could be going on. There's differential diagnoses with heel pain. Actually, we don't use the word heel pain. We call it medial. Right. No, we call it medial heel pain, medial heel syndrome, because it could be nerve. Okay, it could be vascular. It could be the fascia. It could be the bone. Yeah. And you need to look at all of that stuff. Right. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. So we're there. So let's talk about a little bit now medicine and politics, okay? Because this is what we enjoy. This is we had to get through the pay the bills.
Pay the bills.
And get that stuff out. Yeah. So I'm a fan.
Now it's time to play.
I'm a big fan of The View. I watch them every day.
You do? You too?
Yeah.
I got posters of Whoopi above my bed.
Yeah. I tell you, I'm finishing a book right now. It's by Bill O'Reilly. It's called
Killing.
No. It's Confronting the Presidents.
Killing the View. That would have been a great book.
So don't talk about violence. But it's talking about all the presidents and all of the politics.
It's a show.
I know, but
violent.
Don't ever use the word killing. But anyway, I know he says his books are killing this and that. But what's interesting is that back in George Washington's day, like the Philadelphia had 22 papers. I mean, the press was brutal. So I'm okay, and I agree that The View is freedom of speech and that they should exist. I think though that they crossed the line and they libel. And they should be sued. I would sue the shit out of them, some of these people.
You know what's fantastic though about that I just discovered, the woman who always said that she was of Puerto Rican descent and stuff, and her big thing towards everything was systemic racism. Oh no, you're a systemic racist, or you're blah 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 blah. Well, she goes on to that PBS show where they tell you about your lineage.
Oh, she had white in her or whatever.
Right? Yeah. And so she's not Puerto Rican. She's actually Spanish, and her family owned slaves.
Yeah.
So there's your systemic racism right there.
Yeah, so they're all full of shit. So anyway, but I want to make the point about I think it's a good idea. I mean, I'm all for free speech. I wouldn't want to take them off the air, but
we've fought for free speech.
Right. But there is when you cross the line into libel, you should be held civilly, not criminally, civilly. And I think that's the case. Now, so let's go.
Well, Elon's got a $80 million lawsuit against The View and Whoopi Goldberg specifically.
Yeah. So let's talk about The View. So here's The View. This is Sunny Hostin's surgeon husband accused of insurance fraud. So go give me my iPad there. So here it is right here. So this is the New York. This was on Fox News. This was 10 days ago.
It was her.
So The View.
Mike. That's who I was talking about.
Yeah. Is she? I mean, you talk about racist and hateful. She's a very hateful woman. But I think she's totally. Very hateful. Or she uses hateful speech. But here's The View star Sunny Holston, surgeon husband, accused of insurance fraud and sweeping. Didn't go. So let's go over here. Well, do we have insurance scammer to add to a woman who spews hate and false accusations? This is by Thomas Lewis, by the way. This is what he says. Well. Do we have an insurance scammer to add to a woman who spews hate and false accusations and lies every day she appears on The View? She compared the Holocaust to an insane equal. That's an ignorant comment towards people who suffered during the Nazi regime. She needs to formally apologize for her rancid statements and get over her Trump derangement syndrome. She condemns racism, but spews it every time she chimes in with her comments. Hard to tell who is worse, her, Jumbo Joy, or Muffin Head Whoopi. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I don't watch this. So these. This was a comment. I love the comments. This is what I. So this is.
Look right underneath. Read Gemini's comment.
Jeremiah
down.
here. Sonny is also a descendant of slave owners.
That's what I just said. Right
I love these. Here's another one. I wonder how racist Sonny is going to talk her way out of this. I bet this won't be a hot topic on The View.
No.
She will blame Trump. Discuss this one on The View. Talk about how your husband is being targeted because of racism. I'm sure that'll come up. Don't forget that Sonny family owned slaves. She hates when people remind her of that.
Yes.
But I don't know if that's true or not. But
no, it is.
These are okay.
She was on the show, and you know what she said in response?
No.
Oh, well, I guess people were like that back then. So all of a sudden, it's okay.
Right. So
compared to everyone she's condemned for it.
So let's read this story here about what the husband is alleged to do.
Right.
So here it is. A View star. Because this is fact. Okay. I don't know about the slave thing, but
that's fact
okay.
too. Trust me.
So the View, Sunny Hostin's surgeon husband accused of insurance fraud in sweeping federal lawsuit. Orthopedic surgeon Dr. Amuel Manny Hostin is among nearly 200 defendants named in the lawsuit. Let me go up here, and I just want to come over here. The husband of The View, co-host Sunny Hostin, has been accused of insurance fraud in a sweeping federal lawsuit filed last month. The orthopedic surgeon, for people on a podcast, you could go to YouTube because I have this up here.
Yeah, if you go to YouTube, you can see everything we're talking about.
This article here is, I don't know who wrote this article here. I'm trying to see. It's Fox News. But anyway, so here it is. It says, orthopedic surgeon, according to the Daily Mail, Houston and other defendants were allegedly receiving kickbacks for performing surgeries and frequently billing the insurance company that provided for Uber, Lyft, and other taxi companies. Houston, I'm pronouncing it right, Hostin, knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries, the lawsuit claims, per the Daily Mail, adding that the American Trust Insurance Company, which filed the lawsuit, was billed in exchange for kickbacks and or other compensations, which were disguised as dividends or other cash distributions. So let me make a point, Jeremy. That's called pay for play.
Yeah.
Now, who is accused of pay for play? Clinton. The Clintons. Biden. Okay. And you know the funny thing is, none of them go to jail.
The Bidens.
I guarantee nothing's going to happen. Well, I don't know. Now Trump's in office, he may go. This guy may, And if here's the interesting thing, that's federal, that's FBI. If Kash Patel gets in, see ya. If this guy if he's guilty, he ain't going to get a ride. You know what the funny thing? I was at a seminar 3 years ago. Poor doctor just served 3 years in federal prison. He was a podiatrist, and he was writing out scripts for some kind of bullshit. He's getting kickbacks. I feel bad for the guy. He got sucked into it. It wasn't like, I wasn't there, but it looked like he was entrapped to a certain degree, or he just was benign, maybe ego.
If you cash in the checks,
but thing
you
is,
know what you're doing.
he's 3 years in prison.
Yeah.
Can't practice anymore. I think he's working at McDonald's, doing hamburgers. But in the meantime, okay, you might want to say, okay, that's justified. But then these other people should go down too. If this guy's guilty of it, he should lose his license. He should go to jail, just like the doctor, the other podiatrist did. Anyway, but this
Look at her there with
again,
that big smile.
so it's again, let's just see here. Let's just can we? You want to do?
Let's see the couple.
Here. Hang on.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Let's see if you say anything here. I don't know.
I think what has shocked me the most is the anger that is being reflected against this man who is a father and a husband who was murdered. I mean, I was looking at some of the social media comments, and I try to stay away from social media, but it said some of the comments.
Yeah. I don't want to go. Yeah, I don't want to go after that. Okay. So anyway, I just thought I would bring it up. So here, this is kickbacks.
Show the picture of the couple underneath all that. Keep going.
Oh, her and him?
Right here. There they are.
Yeah, I love his glasses.
Yeah,
so anyway, and again, he's innocent until proven guilty. Okay?
Yeah.
And you could make mistakes. There's I'm very sure maybe he's not guilty. And I'm not saying that. But all I'm saying is that, usually when the federal government goes after you, they don't lose cases. They're usually 95% successful. And you could get out of this, Jeremy. Go back to me. And they usually, are pretty successful in their endeavors. So I don't know what to tell you. We'll see what happens. But it's funny that somebody like her. Yeah. She's going to argue. I discuss
with what's going on with her husband, with what we found out about her lineage and her big mouth saying systemic.
She has no credibility. Why would you listen to her?
And to
take
this
her off. She's
$80 billion lawsuit from Elon Musk to The View and specifically Whoopi. Who is constantly putting her foot in her mouth with unproven, unresearched information, and it's thrown up in her face constantly. The audience goes silent when she does that shit.
Yeah. What I understand is that they are so bad in their ratings, and they're costing the company so much money.
They got to snip them.
They're done.
Yeah.
Bill O'Reilly says it all the time. He says they're going to be done. They're going to be fired, defunded. Yeah. Actually, there was some talk that Elon Musk would buy The View and put in what's the guy, My Pillow, Mike Lindell, whatever,
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Put him in there or somebody like that.
My Pillow, yeah.
So
because they tried to take away his business.
Yeah. So let's keep going because I know you want to get out of here soon. So there's two other things I want to talk about.
We're cool.
All right. So now Biden is the greatest president. Remember about 7 months ago, Biden's the best guy, best president. I watched JoJo from New Jersey. She's on X. I follow her. I follow this other guy, Brooklyn Dad. I think their writings they're definitely hooked up with the Democratic Socialist Communist Party. Right. It sounds, but I go back at them. They never acknowledge me, but. But Biden's the greatest thing, and now Biden's not the greatest thing. Then Harris was the greatest thing. Now, they lost. You guys, just so you know out there, again, mandate. You lost. Trump won.
Right.
And you know what? Wait until the shit hits the fan. But let me get.
You know how I support people on Patreon, right?
Yeah.
This one woman, right, never brought it up before.
Move your cup, Jeremy.
Yeah, never brought it up before, but she mentions in this little update and she makes an ugly face about Trump and then says a couple of things. Well, I respond to that in kind, right? I'm not disrespectful. I'm not cursing. I'm like, well, I know you're moving, right? And you're having issues about where you're going to live. Well, you could easily choose a location outside of the borders of our country.
Yeah.
If you're unhappy,
go to Mexico.
And then she did?
Won't take you.
You know what she did? She blocked me, and that was it. And I paid for that month, and I never got my money back.
Oh, Jeremy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, Biden. Wait to. I think that I watched Governor Nome. These people are out of central casting. Talk about
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful woman,
Oh, yeah.
smart, beautiful. That what's that guy Coben, the one guy from? He said Trump doesn't have strong women around him.
Oh,
I mean, the one that
dude, look at half of
Bondi.
the cast of Fox were previous press secretaries for Trump.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So listen. So now let's talk about. So Biden was the greatest guy, and they talked about how Biden, one of his achievements was lowering drug prices. Right? You hear that all around the news. Right? Am I wrong or right?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
you're
All right.
wrong.
So
You're
go to the videotape, as they say.
Let's go to the video tape.
So this was published 14 days ago at a Fortune magazine.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay, so here it is. Pfizer has increased prices on over 60 drugs in the United States as of January 1st. Okay? So I'm just going to read you this here, okay? The start of the new year is typically a time when people make big changes around health, and drug companies are no exception. As of January 1st, just before I finished it, okay, is January 1st, more than 250 brand drugs from pharmaceutical giants, including Bristol Myers Squibb, Santa Fe, Pasteur, Merck, Pfizer, and more will see price hikes in the United States, according to data analyzed conducted by healthcare research from 3 Axios advisors. Pfizer alone is raising prices on over 60 drugs, and the most on the list. Pfizer has the most on. Pfizer has nearly.
Is that
That's the one who had the vaccine.
price hikes against them, or the medicines being raised higher?
No, medicines for people.
Yeah.
Pfizer has nearly 300 products in its portfolio. In addition to a 3% increase on Paxlovid, that's for COVID, it's COVID treatment. Pfizer cancer drugs, I'll spell it, ADCETRIS and IBRANCE, as well as arthritis treatment, XELJANZ, will now cost between 3 and 5% more, according to Reuters. Yeah. These are all, mainstream medicine. The median increase, which is only to the list price and dose, not included rebates or other discounts, is similar year after year at 4.5%. Still, more drugs are getting higher price tags in 2025 compared with last year. Pfizer told Fortune in a statement, Pfizer has adjusted the average list price of other medications and vaccines from 2025 below to overall rate of inflation, approximately 2.4%, across many products in our diverse product portfolio. The modest increase is necessary to support investments that allow us to continue to discover and deliver new medicines, as well as address increased costs throughout our business. All right, go back to me, Jeremy.
Yeah,
so,
can you scroll down further? I wanted to see what it said there about higher price. They don't show a full list of the 60?
No. You could go on Fortune.
I got to tell you something.
Go back to me.
These prices are already sky high. My wife has an autoimmune disease, and the only thing that helps, it's the only drug. There isn't any other, is Humira. Okay? And what she had to go through, because your insurance covers $13,000 for this pill, but you still owe $16,000. That was actually quoted to us, and her jaw dropped. She had to call her all around, going through all these specialty pharmacies, everything, just to be able to get the medicine, the only medicine that would help her condition. I got patients still having difficulty getting their diabetic medication and getting it at a price that they could afford. It's interesting. These companies, and I see also government, I see around here, and I don't want to, talk about one group of people, but if you got a government job, everybody gets increase of salaries, 2%, 3%. And Pfizer, they're like you said, they're way out of bound as it is already. But you know what? I give you. But talk about medicine, right? Like as a doctor, you want to talk about politics. Yeah. 15 years ago, I was a first assist on gallbladders. I would help a lot of general surgeons. You need 2 doctors in the room. Right. And as a foot and ankle surgeon, in the state of New Jersey allows me to be a first assist. I used to first assist on plastic surgery a lot, and I get about 20% of the fee of the surgery. And I'm a lot of times you're there at 2:00 in the night, but back about 15 years ago, for a gallbladder, Medicare was the federal government, would pay about $3,500 for a gallbladder. Yeah. You know what you get paid today for a gallbladder? $600. Yeah.
Where the hell is the increase? Doctors aren't getting it.
Doctors are not getting it.
And I mean, you talk to Gabe Jasper, you talk to everybody.
And everybody at home, you guys think that, these doctors are just in it for the money. The days of doctors driving around with women dripping off of them, it's gone. It's gone. Now all you can really hope for is finding a good doctor who wants to take care of his patients and does right by them.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll that is great because that kind of leads into the next thing I'm going to talk about. Yeah, number one is that the drugs are very expensive. And if you look at the amount of money spent on medicine, generally, the whole big part of it, you talk about x-ray, surgery, implants, metal, screws, artificial joints, more money is spent for medicine. Chemotherapy, drugs, that's still the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And it continues to be that way. But when you talk about doctor salaries, right? I know an endocrinologist is retiring right now. He can't make a living. As a primary doctor and an endocrinologist, you go on the internet and you look at salaries of doctors. That's bullshit.
Right.
They're not. I mean, there's some guys making big money, gals. People who working in for the hospital or for a big group. But the mom and pop doctor, is gone. The patient-doctor relationship is gone. You know who crushed that? Is Affordable Health Care Act. Barack Obama. They incentivized corporate America into medicine. And right now, I don't know, maybe 80% of the anesthesiology groups in the United States are owned by a corporation. Everybody's selling their practice because they can't survive. And they're being bought over by these big groups. And their bottom line is how much they make, the stockholders. So doctors right now, the amount of money you're going to make, I tell you what, you go look at it. I know orthopedic surgeons, $250,000, $350,000. That's it. These are, that's not a lot of money compared to, you may make about $1 million. You say, that's way too much. Well, then you do it. You have the talent to go through, chemistry, biology, do 4 years of college on a high level academic, have the brains, then do 4 years of medical school, and then, in the surgery, and have the talent, and then do a 5-year residency. You're 34 years old, you come out, and now you start making money. Right. What do you pay somebody like that? And then people, like for me, I was on call at many hospitals. People are getting sicker and sicker. You think about an ankle fracture. You get a 22-year-old girl with an ankle fracture. She's got good insurance. Well, what happens when you get the 20-year-old kid who's severely autistic who's got an ankle fracture? And the parent, you got to deal with that patient on medications, and it's a nightmare. And so many people are drug addicted. You think that you still got to take care of these people. They're drug addicted. You got to put them in the hospital. You got to deal with their drug addiction. And if you don't deal with it appropriately, and say they OD 6 months after they get out of the hospital, you're under their care, you could be liable for it. It goes on and on and on. But we're not getting any more money. If I operate on you, and you're on 20 medications,
which I think I am.
Yeah, what a lot of people are. I don't get any more money because you're a higher risk. Even like children. Here's a good example. You come in, you bring in your child. He's got foot problem, and he's say 12 years old. Yeah. I have to keep that chart until he's 25. Which, and when I say keep that chart, I have to have it somewhere, in iCloud or whatever. It costs money. That was never the case. I got to keep it until they're 25. So, they're 15 years old. I got to keep that chart for 10 years somewhere. That means if I die tomorrow, my estate has to keep that chart somewhere. Somebody has to pay for that. Jeremy, it's absolutely insane. But the biggest thing right now is this drug, prices. The other thing is medical errors are ridiculous. Because what happened is, what's happening with medicine, just like everything else, they're lowering the standards because they couldn't get enough people in. Right. They're lowering. The quality that's coming in now is pretty shaky. Yeah. So I got one more.
And guys, we talk about this stuff all the time, off camera, off mic, about stories we hear about doctors out there. And we don't like to poo-poo other doctors, but when they're in the wrong, you got to make people aware of it. And it happens. That's why it's so important to get second, third, fourth, fifth, Well,
we get a good example. And I don't want to name any names, but we just found a case, with me and other doctors. We know of a case where there's an anesthesiologist, and the anesthesiologist is going through a divorce, and they got their head up their ass, and they've had a couple complications with patients that almost died. They pulled that individual out, but you got when you had mom and pop, and you had like I was hospital based, so an anesthesiology department. If we see we used to screen. We would see every case that came in. There wasn't a lot of surgery centers, by the way. Surgery centers are another. It's good. They're good, but they're also, the peer review and the stuff that goes on there. In the hospital, there was a lot of people looking at that patients. When I was operating in the operating room, the nurses were watching me. I mean, everything was watched. How long I took the surgery, was there complications, and then that would be brought up to the chairman. We had screens. We actually had where people would look at the charts and say, okay, a bunion procedure takes an hour. Say, we'll give you 2 hours. If it's over 2 hours, we're going to pull that chart and we're going to evaluate it. And then I look at it as the chairman of the department. I say, oh, there's something going on here. Or there's an anesthesia complication. The patient gets admitted to the hospital after a routine procedure. And they have, collapsed lung or aspiration, and then you start to see a pattern. That's gone. A lot of that's gone. Yeah. Because, the anesthesiologist department, it's owned by a corporation, J&J Holdings. So who do you bring in to, one of the anesthesiologists, and he's gone. They ship him to Florida. And then you bring the company, the lawyer sitting there. What's your problem, Dr. Kachmar? Well, you had this conflict. Well, we're going to deal with it. My point is you're losing the quality of care, the safeguards. On an airplane, you got I think 3 breaks to, so you're taking away the safeguards in medicine to make it cheaper. Yeah. And in my opinion, you're starting to see more and more screw ups out there. And talking about that, this is the last one we're going to talk about. This is New York Post. Go to my, to the iPad, and we'll pack it in after this. No, this is crazy.
I'm fine. Don't
So look at this. Former nurse busted for abuse after 3 premature babies suffered fractures at a Virginia hospital. I read this when it first came out, and it said these babies had fractures, right? So this is where you have to have a lot of people looking at a lot of different things, a lot of oversight. You know what I'm saying, Jeremy?
I want to see what abuse she was actually doing with them.
A former nurse was arrested for child abuse in connection to a horrifying incident that left 3 premature babies with unexplainable fractures at a Virginia hospital, which has since closed its neonatal intensive care unit, authorities said. Erin Elizabeth Ann, Stratman, 26, was charged with miscellaneous, wounding and felony child abuse over the disturbing infant injuries. Yeah, so what happened is the preemies were found to have inexplicable broken bones in late November and early December. The chilling evidence came after 4 babies, including a newborn with a fractured leg, were hurt in the same unit in the summer of 2023. Now, I guess you could get injuries when you're being born.
Look at that wee bag.
So investigators are probing dozens of videos from inside the NICU. It's called NICU, and detectives are examining the film and
re-examining the 2023 and 2024 cases as part of this broader investigation. Wow.
Right.
So she may have injured more that they haven't counted yet, because the investigation is looking into the other cases.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, everybody's...
The hospital is shocked and saddened.
Right. So anyway, go back to me. So that brings me back to, this is just one case, but here's the deal. You got a lot of people out there who are, for a better word, fucked up in the head.
Fucked up in the head, yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with her. Maybe she's doing drugs. Maybe she's mentally ill. Obviously, she's not playing with a full deck of cards.
She's 26, and she's like, what?
Well,
breaking legs?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Usually in the NICU and in intensive care unit, the best of the best is up there. You got to be a real sharp nurse.
Oh, yeah.
And,
But every once in a while, you get that nurse scratch it, right?
Right. But here's what I'm saying, Jeremy. You have to have the infrastructure in the hospitals. You have to have a strong peer review.
Right.
And what I'm telling the American public out there, and I see this more and more and more, is as corporate America takes over medicine, which is Barack Obama wanted, right? And you get bigger and bigger groups, you have less and less oversight. Just like with Ford Motor Company, when their Pintos were getting hit by the back getting hit in the back, and the cars were blowing up, and it was a $3.50 fix to put a pan so the gasoline, when it got hit from the back, didn't go onto the muffler and blow the car up. Right. But they decided not to spend that. They thought they're better off paying the lawsuits when they come around after the injuries. Yeah, that's in textbooks right now.
That's nuts.
Okay, so what's happening right now is they're trying to cut costs. They're not paying the doctors. You talk about it's going to get to the point where doctors are not going to be able to pay for the malpractice, whatever. It's deteriorating.
Like, guys, if you're effing with the babies, we're coming for you.
Yeah, no. You're missing the point there. No,
it's not. That's also the point, Mike.
No, it's not. No. Well, yeah, she's into.
It is.
No, she should never have been there. She's mentally ill. But my point is, Jeremy.
But that's also what I was just thinking while you were talking. Like people who have to have these extra care jobs should sit with a forensic psychologist or something.
Right now, yeah, but you're gonna listen. People are gonna no. What you need to have, Jeremy, is you need to have a peer review, a mechanism where things are evaluated.
Well, yeah.
Okay?
There you go.
Right. Where every day where there's screens, where soon as like I would have in NICU, if I was running that hospital, I would have nurses there that were specifically peer review nurses, and they would give me a report every week or every month. How many births, how long was there complications, and we pick it up like that. Maybe every 2 weeks. So I would see a report. 2 babies had fractured legs. Whoa, what's going on here? I would have nipped that in the bud.
Yeah, but it didn't happen that way.
Well, I don't know how it happened. I don't know how they found out. It sounds like the parents were
If the investigators are going back a couple of years to check on stuff,
right.
Then this might have been going on for quite some time, and the fact that it hasn't been caught until now.
Right.
Is problematic and
worrying. So what I'm telling you, Jeremy, and you don't understand this, how it used to be, is you have a hospital, you have a medical staff. Yeah. And the medical staff is composed of different departments: Department of Orthopedics, Department of Vascular Surgery, Department of General Surgery, Department of Urology, Department of Anesthesiology, OBGYN, and then like my department, I had like 30 doctors in his Department of Foot and Ankle Surgery, podiatry department. I was the chairman at one time, and we would meet every month, all the chairman heads, and we would meet. It was called a med exec committee, meeting, and we would meet with the hospital administration. Okay, and we didn't meet with the board of directors, but we were all answerable to the board of directors. This is how it flowed. So it was us and the hospital administration. The hospital administration, sets policies, but they also, make sure the toilet bowl's flush, make sure there's enough nurses on staff, make sure. And what we would do as department heads. Now listen to me. We would have screens. You know what I mean by screens? So I would say, let's just say podiatry. I would put down. We use an ankle tourniquet when we do surgery. We put a cuff on your leg to cut the circulation off. Yeah. All right, on the ankle, it shouldn't go more than an hour. So I would have a screen, and you have to document that. The nurses in the operating room have to document it. When it goes on, the exact second it goes on, the exact second it goes off. Yeah. Now, if they don't, that's number one problem. So we make sure that they do that. If that wasn't documented, so we have nurses checking those nurses that they put that down. Okay, now, if I see Dr. Jeremy did 30 cases last month, and out of those 30 cases, half of them, the cuff time was an hour and a half, which is over against our rules and regulations. Right. The nurses would look at that. They would look at the charts and see, oh, this is over the time. They would bring those charts to me, and I would review it. We would review them. We had a peer review. This is on every department now. Look at them, and the reason why we're doing this, we want to make you better. So then we would call you in and say, hey, Jeremy, what's going on?
Right.
You got some problems at home? Are you drinking? Yeah. Why is it taking you longer? Yeah. Oh, well, I said, well, it's unacceptable, dude. Every one of us is doing it under an hour. So I tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to put Joe Bag of Donuts here, surgeon, with you in the room.
Right.
And let's see what we could help you out.
You got 2 eyes on the situation.
Well, no, what we're going to do is we're going to try to. Obviously, you're a shitty surgeon, and maybe he could teach you to do quicker surgery.
Right.
Obviously, there's something going on.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you don't come around, you're out. Yeah. That's gone. A lot of places, that's gone. How do you do that with a corporation? How do you do that? And also there's a lot of lawsuits. If you go after that doctor, they sue. So what's happening in medicine is you don't have the oversight as you used to for a lot of different reasons. Affordable Health Care Act is one. Economics is another. The lawyers are another. I try to shut down a doctor who I think is unqualified, and I did that. It was $1 million lawsuit against the hospital, me, the whole thing as a chairman of the department. And that individual went on to become a department chief somewhere. And he's not board certified or board qualified. So my point is that you deal with this shit every day. And now that's why I like with the prostate stuff. It's ridiculous. And and I can't understand. I just try to tell people, hey, do whatever you got to do. And I feel bad for these people because they come to me and they're, stage 4 prostate cancer with a PSA of 10 for 10 years, 8 years, and they've been told by a urologist, don't worry about it, Anyway, so cycling back to this woman here. Yeah, obviously she's crazy. Yeah. Who knows what she's doing?
Babies, dude.
And she heard a lot of it, but she's mentally ill, in my opinion. Yeah. But the bigger picture there, Jeremy.
I hope she's mentally ill.
Yeah,
and not incompetent.
The point is though, was there a mechanism? First of all, you got to have meetings with these people. The other nurses should know if you're a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll never know. Some people, you look at them, you talk to them.
Are you getting a whiff of that while you're on shift with them?
Right,
what's going on?
Medicine, you got to have peer review. Anesthesiologist, good example. Anesthesiologist, woman, man, whatever, finds out the wife or husband's cheating on her. Now they're crazy. They're getting divorced. They're or the child dies, suicide or overdose. They're mentally not in the game. You're there laying on a table. They got your life in your hands, their hands, and they're preoccupied. Just like they say, if you own guns, Jeremy, and you're going through a divorce or something happens, maybe we should take the guns away from you, at least temporarily.
Right.
They call them red flag. Well, what about, I'm not saying doctors should not do stuff, but, we need to look at this.
But then you'll get, what? You're taking away my right to bear arms? Blah, 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 blah.
Well, but the thing is,
there's always something to weasel out the back end.
But here's the thing. You need to have peer review. You don't have to have it public. All of this peer review that I talked about in hospitals, it never went to the public.
It's done privately.
It's done privately.
Keep it,
what'll happen is, if it gets to the point where you're out of control and we cut your privileges,
right,
or if you don't listen to us and we don't get better, then we're going to cut your privileges. Then that has to be told to the state of New Jersey, the medical board.
Right.
And you know what? All the years, I've never had a problem. Actually, 99% of the time, you know what it is? It might have been a new doctor or there was new techniques out there, and we showed the doctor how to do it better, quicker, safer, and they joined up on it, and they got it, and they got better.
Right.
So the whole idea of peer review is to make you better. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also to show technology. Hey, listen, you do it this way, say Dr. Jeremy. That's the old way to do it. There's new ways now. It's quicker. It's easier. Use this, and we have less complications.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. That's the function of that. But now it's gone, and because of corporate America, it's the worst thing in the world. The patient-doctor relationship is gone. Most of the doctors now are going to be working for either what do you call it? Investment banker group, or the hospital.
Yeah.
And again, the hospital. We used to fight against the hospital. So the administration, they're the bean counters. Okay,
right.
We're the doctors who treat the patients. And the administration is the one who pays has the facility, has how many ORs, hire people, And we would always fight against them because I'm talking about, they want to cut costs. Hey, Dr. Kachmar,
They want to make money.
you're using too much stuff in the OR, or we got to send the anesthesiologist home, or they whatever. There's all kinds of things. They used to bitch, moan, and groan when it was a private entity. Dr. Rosen and I used to do plastic surgery cases, and be 10 hours some of the cases. It was major surgery, and the anesthesiologists, they were pissed because they weren't making as much money as they could on a simple bunion, an hour in and out, you used to get pushback. So at least there was some give and take there. We bring in 10 good cases that move real quick and they made money, but then we would do some of these big cases,
Right. Businesses have been doing that forever. Like, theme parks will lower the price of, or if you're ordering a Coca-Cola, well, they've reduced the amount of.
Continue with scrubbing up with Dr. Kachmar, right there.
Well, considering that, or the Coca-Cola mix, right?
Right.
Well, we're going to cut down on how much syrup we're going to mix per this and stuff. So they cut down. So when you order your Coke, it tastes like crap. It doesn't taste like.
Or they make it smaller and smaller.
Yeah, they take away this and to cut cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. It's one thing there, but you don't.
But it's not your cost of cutting; it's theirs.
Do you want to buy? So there you're going to start sky jumping. Say you're going to jump out of a plane, right?
Yeah.
You go to the store to buy a parachute. Are you going to buy the one that's used and cheap, or the good one? It's that kind of thing. When it comes to medicine, there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
There's a simple question you just ask yourself about these things: would you trust this with you and your family?
Well, I'm telling everybody, the system, it's not necessarily the individuals, it's the system. Again, the overall system that's broken.
Yeah.
And one of the things that has happened is Affordable Health Care Act. Everybody thought it's the greatest thing. They still talk about it. Trump is going against the, Affordable Health Care. Affordable Health Care Act, I'm going to circle back to this because we'll end, if you want to end the show, when Barack Obama was president of the United States, you know how many people, so you had patients who were elderly, over 65, had Medicare.
Right.
Government paid for it, okay? It was 80%, you get a secondary. Most working people had insurance through their employer. Yeah. And then if you didn't, you had Medicaid, which is welfare paid by the states. And it was actually pretty decent back in the day. So when Barack Obama and all of this Affordable Health Care Act, there was maybe 10 million people in the United States, maybe 15, I think around 12, 10 million, that didn't have insurance.
Right.
Okay, so what could you have done? If you really wanted to help the country, all you had to do was maybe extend Medicare, go down to say 55, maybe 60. And then, or fund each state adequately enough federally
to cover it. Yeah.
Could have been easy. No, what they had to do is they had to have a whole big thing. Affordable Health Care Act, all of these laws. You know why one of the things they did with that? Let me tell you, one of the things that happened after Affordable Health Care Act. Before that, no insurance covered gender-affirming treatment.
Right.
That was one of the hallmarks of Affordable Health Care Act. After that, they mandated insurances to cover gender-affirming therapy and care and surgery. Right. United Healthcare, the guy who got killed, his company in New Jersey, United Healthcare, New Jersey pays for it. It's a welfare for people who have no money. They pay for 15 procedures. 15 procedures for gender-affirming care. Okay, cut your balls off. So you understand. You see, there was the politics. And what it did is it also incentivized big groups. So instead, if you're a doctor, 2-3 doctor group, you get paid less per se office visit or procedure than if you were a group that's 50 or bigger. Right. Because they felt that the bigger the group, the more efficient it will be. I don't know if they ever thought about the quality of care.
Right.
And it's not any efficient because you know what the funny thing is? Medicine costs today more than it did 20 years ago or 10 years ago, but the doctors get less. Where the money is going now is to more money into the pharma companies, right, the hospitals, well, not even more than the insurance and the what do you call it? The vendors, the guys and gals who make the hips, the metal, the joints,
or the surgical instruments.
So I'll give you a good example. I go do a
jazz.
triple orthodesis, which is a very complicated surgery, right? And I'll use staples in there. I use screws, but I'll put staples. Regular staples, but they're surgical staples, right? So if I do a triple orthodesis, 2-hour procedure, sometimes I'll get one of the doctors to help me because it's a lot of work, and it's very sophisticated. Very, you got to be really on top of your money on these things.
Right.
And it's somewhat risky. Anyway, I probably get about $1,200 for that, maybe less now with Medicare. Maybe, I don't even know. I haven't looked at, maybe $800, $900. And let's just say it's $1,200. And that's 90 days. I can't charge any more money. That's 90 days. I don't get paid a penny unless you go back into the hospital. So all those post-op visits, and if you get an infection, I got to put, unless I bring you back to the OR, I get zero. Okay? The guy who was in the room with me, I was talking to him. The guy who sells the staples.
Yeah.
They're in the room because they want to make sure, you got
procedures are going right.
Right.
With their product.
Right.
Yeah,
The products are there. So he's in the room with me, and I start talking to him. I say, hey, well, my name is Jim. Hey, Jim, I'm operating, so you talk, and I said, when did you start? How long did you do this? Oh, this is my first year or whatever, 2. What did you do before that? Not much. Basically he worked at Joe's gasoline station, pumping gas. He got the job, right? And so I go to him. I go, listen, his name was Joe. I said, Joe, how much are these staples? How much you billing? How much? He says $2,000 a piece. So I think I used 3 staples
Per staple.
So 2 for $6,000. Now I said, Joe, what do you get on that? And he was hemming and hawing. Right. Okay, so it said $6,000. Okay, I don't know if he gets 10%, 20%. I don't know what it is. They get a percentage, of the take.
Yeah.
So most likely, Joe made more money than I did on that case. He wasn't doing the surgery. He was standing there. He was on his cell phone most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
He didn't go through school. And, this is what it is. This is what it is. So, when you talk about the way medicine is going and where the priorities are, I'll give you a good example. I go into the operating room, right? And they put these they're not stocking, they're actually apparatuses that go on your legs to stop clots from happening. It blows up and it's got pressure.
Oh, wow.
Well, my cases are an hour long, and I'm doing one leg, so you can't put it on there. And they put it on the other. Actually, I go in there, and there's this thing on both legs. Again, wasted money. Who put that in? Then also antibiotics, prophylactic. We give antibiotics before the surgery.
Yeah.
I'll go in, I'll give a gram of Anceft, 1 gram. It doesn't matter what a gram is, but 1. There's pharmacy techs who are not even pharmacists floating around the OR. They'll change my orders and put 2 because based on the patient's weight. And I'm like, that's bullshit.
You can't change what.
Well, then I can. Well, they changed it, and then I could change it back. But then it's red letters there. Dr. Kachmar changed it. So they instead of 1 gram, it's 2 grams. Who's making money on that? I could go on. Another thing, we do a hyphicator, right? And we take this little thing. It burns the blood vessels to stop bleeding, right? And usually what we do is we have another thing. It's a suction catheter, which is always there, to suck blood up and water and everything. Well, you put that over, and when you hyphricate it, there's some steam, smoke comes up, and it sucks it up. Oh, no, that's not good enough. Because, we don't want to have any environmental issues. So now you got this big apparatus. It's the hyphricate again that burns, but it's got a big tube and a suction thing. What does that cost? And it's one-time use.
I remember.
You understand what I'm saying, Jeremy?
No,
it goes
totally
on and on.
I remember
and
this story that Dr. Schneider told me about this. She spoke very little English. She was Mexican or something like that.
Right.
And she came in to see Dr. Schneider, and Dr. Schneider's looking at her breasts, and because for those of you who don't know, Dr. Schneider is a breast surgeon, but
looking at the woman's breast, not her own breast.
Yeah. That would be ridiculous. No, but she's looking at the patient's breasts, and there's little rivets all across her chest. Now these are what they put in place when they do a biopsy. They leave a little rivet there to let them know where it was or whatever. And this woman, usually you see one.
Right.
This woman was riddled with them, like St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
So she had multiple biopsies.
Right across, and then I was asking Barb about how much do those cost a piece, and she's just like, "Oh, it's cost this much and this much." And in the meantime, that patient is suffering through all of this stuff, and they're dragging possibly cancerous material through the rest of the breast as they're doing it. I mean, the hospital didn't care because the patient didn't speak English, so they could do whatever they like.
Yeah, I see that.
She's not going to complain because she doesn't know.
I see that with the welfare years ago with the dentists. Whoever they would do this unbelievable stuff on these kids.
Yeah.
I mean, kids are going to lose their teeth anyway. I mean, and it's just tens of thousands of dollars. Listen, that's why you need to have peer review. The fraud. I tell you what. I guarantee you. It's such. I can't give you one generality, but I see incompetence. I see benign neglect, but then I also see people doing unnecessary surgeries. I see all of that. It needs to be brought into control. Medicare is actually pretty good. Medicare controls a lot of their costs. I think Medicare, believe it or not, which is a government entity. I think their overhead is like 3%, 4%, but they are also kind of tough, but at least they have rules and regs and they're pretty tight on that,
Yeah.
But the other insurances are crazy. Anyway, listen, Jeremy, I think we should pack it in. I think, how long have we been? Can you go up to town?
We're over.
Okay, that's
hour
perfect.
11.
Okay, so let me just go through our stuff while I get this our exit ready here.
Please like and subscribe on Facebook and on YouTube. You'll get notifications for when me and Dr. Kachmar go live.
Dr. Kachmar and I, a teacher, Dr. Kachmar and I.
All right. I'm in New Jersey. I'm like, hey, how you doing?
Oh yeah, it's me. Yeah. Me and Jimmy Joe. We're gonna go down. Get a slice of pizza.
Yeah. So the show is Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar, and Michael Kachmar's office is called Jersey Shore. Why aren't we doing this?
Jersey Shore Foot and
Leg Center. And the website is JerseyShoreFootandLegCenter.com. To make an appointment with you, Mike, what's the
732-269-1133. 269-1133. We'll put that up there.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Listen, have a nice time. Hopefully, we'll do this every weekend now. We got back to the swing of things.
Yeah.
Have a nice time. Hey, hooray for Dr. Trump, for President Trump. Thank God. And I'm telling you, read that book, Bill O'Reilly, Confronting the Presidents. Amazing. Anyway, have a nice time, everyone. Take care. See you later. Bye.
Bye.